Yeah.
Demand it.
Yeah.
I mean, and if the hospital is not going to give it to you, leave the hospital and go to one that will. Because it could literally be a matter of life or death, or at the very least, you could lose a toe, a foot, a leg. I mean, you saw the pictures of my leg. I wasn't too far away from compartment syndrome, which in that case, when that happens, you do lose the foot.
Right.
You lose it. And so take responsibility for your own health. One thing that I learned that I didn't know before, when the doctor says, if it gets any worse, come in.
So at that point, what is worse?
What is worse? I mean, in my mind, I got bit by a rattlesnake. I totally expect swelling. I totally expect bruising.
But at what point is it too much bruising? At what point is it too much swelling? Because there is a line.
There really is. And so I was talking to my doctor when I was in the ICU about that, because he's told me, Daniel, if this gets any worse, I want you to come back in and see me. And so I told him, I said, sir, I've been confused on this whole if it gets any worse thing ever since the first doctor told me if it gets any worse. What is worse? He's like, well, your leg will go through a series of swelling and shrinking and swelling, and the bruising will continue to change colors. Okay? If it gets more swollen than it is right now, come in. Okay? If you feel more pain than what you're feeling right now, come in. So pretty much, if a doctor says, if it gets any worse, come back in, he literally means from this point, if anything else happens,
go back.
Go back. And there's several reasons for that. And there's several. One could be, you could be having a reaction to the venom. One could be, you could be having a reaction to the medicine.
Sure.
I mean, you could be having some kind of an infection. There's a million different reasons that anything, if it gets worse from this point, go back. And that's where I failed on my own health. I failed because I sat there, oh, the bruising's, hey, doc, the bruising's getting worse. Now, the doctor kind of failed, too, because he should have said, well, come back in.
Right. If it's getting worse, then you need to come back in.
Right.
Right. And I'm sure there are plenty of things that doctors can and cannot say, especially when over the phone, because here's the truth of the matter. They don't make a dime off of you when you're on the phone. So I get that aspect, but in the same breath, there's got to be some moral capacity there to say, wait a minute, did you just say it's getting worse? You need to get your tail up here because, holy crap, that's not good.
Right. And if you do get bit by a snake and you didn't get any venom,